everyone, Miss Cramer here. Today we're going to talk about overlap and background, and we're going to draw a picture together. So you're going to need a paper and Mr. Pencil and maybe an eraser too. And when you get all that stuff ready, we'll begin. Okay, now that you have all your materials, I'm going to draw mine on the whiteboard, so it's going to look a little bit different. You'll have a paper and pencil, and if you can have a blank piece of paper, that works the best. We're going to do a follow directions lesson to start with. So you're going to follow exactly what I do, and then I'm going to give you some choice to draw some things that you want to do to add to your picture. So first what we're going to do, and some of you may remember this from when we were drawing our still life and we used our thumb to make a circle. So about in the middle of your paper, now I'm left-handed, so this is going to look a little different to you if you're right-handed. Put your thumb, the hand that you don't write with, upside down, and just trace right along the bottom of your thumb. You're going to make like a little letter U. Okay, and what we're going to do is turn that into a circle, but we don't want an itty-bitty teeny tiny circle, so that's why we're using our thumb to help us. So now I'm just going to finish this and make a circle. Okay, so once you have the circle on there, then I'm going to talk to you about overlap. Overlap is when you have shapes that hide behind other shapes. So we're actually going to make an upside down triangle. So we're going to use some basic shapes today to do our project. So we're going to be using a circle. We're going to be using triangles. And our triangles actually might be upside down too. So we just make a top on it and put the letter V. So that's an upside down triangle. We are going to use rectangles and squares. And one last shape that we sometimes will use in this is an oval. So for this project, if you end up using all these shapes or some of these shapes, it's okay. You don't have to use every single one. So we're using the circle to start with. Now what we're going to do is create an upside down triangle that the tip of it hides behind the circle. So what I'm going to do to make this is I'm going to draw a line that just goes right above the circle, just kind of right above. So I have, this is going to be my upside down triangle. So I'm making the long part first, and then this is the trick. When you do overlapping, you're going to make it hide behind this circle. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to bring it until it crashes into the circle, crash, and bring it here till it crashes into the circle. So now what I have is the triangle looks like it's hiding behind the circle. So that's called overlapping. Now I'm going to take a triangle that's pointed up, but I'm also going to make that look like it's hiding behind. So we're creating something that's a secret right now. So now I'm going to do this where I made my line before. So now I'm going to make a little bit longer line down here, a little bit away from the circle, a little bit longer line. So it's just slightly bigger than the top one. And now what you're going to do is the same thing we did here, but now we're going to crash it into the little triangle. So we're going to come here. We're going to crash till it touches the triangle. We're going to come up here, crash till it touches the triangle. So see, we have that overlapping. So now the circle is on top of the little triangle, and the little triangle and the circle are on top of the big triangle. They're all hiding underneath. So this is the start of our drawing. Next, we're going to do some rectangles. We're going to make a rectangle down here at the bottom on the right side, and then we're going to put one right next to it, just so they're right next, not touching, but just right next to each other. And then we're going to draw another rectangle right here, same thing but on the other side. And this is actually what we would call symmetrical because it's the same on both sides. And now I'm going to use my square, but I'm just going to draw a line right here to create that square right here and right here. So now I have those squares, rectangle, triangle, circle, triangle. Now we're going to create an oval, but a little oval. So up here, we're going to come up here and make a little oval and a little oval. Who do you think this might be? Let's keep going. Now I'm going to draw a circle inside the oval and color it in. Who do you think this is? Does that look like it could be Rudolph? Maybe? Yes, it's Rudolph. So this is going to be Rudolph's red nose. So now we need to make ears for Rudolph. And what we're going to do is just kind of use a triangle shape, but we're just going to curve it down. And then we're going to use another triangle shape and curve it down because he's got to have ears so he can hear Santa tell him when to go. Now this is the tricky part. We're going to make antlers, and the antlers are the things that go on the top of the reindeer's head. So what we do with this one, it's a little tricky, but I like to start off with just making a curve up. And then if you guys have ever seen the Grinch and how his hand has those long fingers, like the Grinch's fingers. So then what I do is just come in here and just make these long, kind of skinny lines like that to make it kind of look like antlers. And then I'm just going to do the same thing, curve. And then I'm going to make like those little fingers. And I'm going to come down, down, and down. And now I have antlers. And we can color this in. So these are Rudolph's hoofs. And the hoofs are always black. And then the part of his eye is black. This is the one time I'll let you color with your pencil. Because eventually we're going to color this with crayon or marker if you have marker too. But what I want to teach you is now we need to add details. And one of the things that I always tell my students, the number we always use for details is 10 or more. As an artist, we're telling a story with our picture. So 10 is our magic number. That's always the number we're looking for. 10 or more details. 10. Okay, so in order to make details, we're going to talk a little bit about the background. Now, if I were to draw a line right down here, the very bottom of my paper, then what happens is Rudolph is flying. Now, we know Rudolph can fly, but right now he's at the North Pole. He's not flying right now. So we need to make ground. So the ground doesn't have to just touch his feet. I'm going to show you an artist trick, and it has to do with overlapping also. So now I'm going to bring my ground, and it could be wintertime, so it might be a little hilly. So I have a little curve here, and it crashes into Rudolph. And then I'm going to jump all the way to the other side and take it all the way off the paper. So now I have ground for Rudolph to stand on. And then I can start making all those awesome details, my 10 or more details that I want to have on my picture. So now I'm going to teach you how to draw some different things, and then you can add them to your picture wherever you want to add them. So I'm going to teach you a couple of different kinds of trees, Christmas trees. There's a couple easy ones, and there's a couple more big kid ones. So I'm going to show you the first one. The easy one is to just draw a nice triangle and then put a rectangle at the bottom. Easy tree. Or if you want to go a little bit bigger kid, we use triangles. So now I'm going to take a triangle. I'm going to do my overlapping like I did with Rudolph here. Now I'm going to make a bigger triangle, and the tip of it's hiding behind this triangle. Now I'm going to take a bigger triangle, and the tip of it's hiding behind this triangle. So we call that like a layer or a stacked triangle. So you can see how it makes the tree look more realistic. And then we put a tree trunk. Now, if you want to go real big, kid, we use a zigzag line to help us. So you could actually do this where you go in and out and then come all the way across. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. That one's a little bit trickier because sometimes you might not get the sides to match exactly, but you know what? They don't have to. It's okay if they don't match exactly. Okay, so then we have our tree trunk. So what I'm going to do is over here, I'm going to make one of my trees. And I'll have that in the background. So it's going to be a little bit behind Rudolph. So I'm just going to make a nice tall triangle for my tree and then my tree trunk. And then I'm going to put some texture on my tree trunk. So just a simple tree. Now, I want this to be a Christmas tree, so I'm going to start decorating it. So I may put circles on it for the ornaments. You could have different kinds of ornaments, different shapes. You can put the little hooks for it to hang on the tree. So it's really up to you what you want to do with your tree. So you decorate it however you want. Sometimes they'll wrap it with garland, so you might have a line that goes through like this, and then you can color that different color, make red or green. And then to make a star, stars are kind of a tricky shape, but you can actually make a really simple star by using two triangles just like this, and you overlap them. So let me show you how to make a star. I'm going to take a triangle, And then I'm going to make an upside down. So there's my one triangle. Now I'm going to make an upside down triangle. But this one I actually want to see through it because I want it to look like a star. So all I did was add two triangles overlapping each other, but this time you can see through them. So here's my triangle, and then here's my upside down triangle, and then I have my star on my tree. So there's my star, simple two triangles together. So now I'm going to start adding some other things too. So maybe I would like Santa's workshop. So I'm going to use a square, and I'm going to make this square go off the page so it kind of looks like a rectangle. And then I'm going to use a part of a rectangle and make the door, and that can go off the paper. Artists don't have to keep everything right stuck on the paper. It can go off the paper. So that always makes it look like it continues past the paper, and it makes it look more realistic. So now I'm going to make a window, and I'm going to put lines in it just like the window bars that you might see. And then I'm going to put a triangle up here, and see how it goes off the paper. Totally fine. And then I'm going to make the shingles, and I'm just going to do simple lines just like this, just to make the shingles on the roof. So I have some designs in here that I'm starting to add. I could have some clouds, so that's a detail. I could have overlapping clouds. I could have a little bird flying in the sky. I have a circle and a oval, and here's his tail as a triangle, and then his wings might go right off the page, and I can't see all of his wing, but that's okay. And then his little feet are tucked right underneath him. So I have a little bird. I could do a bunny or a squirrel. So I'm going to show you some of those things. So for a bunny, what I like to do is start with the head and then make a body. So I have a circle and then a bigger circle, or you could use an oval. And then we're going to take our ears and make them nice big bunny ears, and then put another line inside. That's the inside of their ear. And then what I like to do is put eyes, a little nose, mouth, and then two little feet out in front. And then because this is a side view, I usually only put one foot on this side in the back because that's all you can see, and then his puffy little tail. So that's an easy way to draw a bunny. So you could have a bunny down here. So maybe I put my bunny down here, and he's hanging out with Rudolph. So here's my little bunny, his two front feet, his fluffy tail, and then his back leg. So I got my little bunny hanging out here with Rudolph. And you could think of other things that you could add to this. You could have an elf. So if I have a circle and then I make a triangle for his hat, and I could draw lines in it for the brim of it, and then a cute little nose and mouth, and then make pointed ears. So it just comes to a point and curves around. It comes to a point and curves around. So he's got his elf ears. And then to make his body, you can just do a triangle and then put a little belt on. And then you can make rectangles for legs. And then for his shoes, you can just make them curl up. So you got a little curl to his toe. So here, curl up. So he has little elf shoes on. And then you could just make his arm, and you can bend it if you want to. So he's waving high, and just make a circle for the hand. It can be super simple. You don't have to make it difficult. And then we could have this hand go down. And next I might want to make some presents under the tree. So I'm just going to use my simple shapes, my circle and my triangle. And I could have a square and then put a little X in it. And then I just make a little curve at the top for a little bow. I could do a rectangle and then curve it and make a bow. And for your presents, they can be different sizes and different shapes. They don't have to be just rectangles and squares, but traditionally a lot of them are like that. But sometimes you might get a gift bag. So you might have a gift bag, and it might have the tissue paper coming out of it. Then you can have the tissue paper being all different colors. So you might have a gift bag, and it might have a little bell on it, and it might have some designs on it. So you could have a design on it. So you could put a little gift bag under the tree if you'd like to do something like that. So what we want to do with our drawing is try and add as many details as possible and fill up the paper. So next I'm going to make a little Santa sleigh right here. It's going to curve, and I'm just going to see the part of the sleigh, just the front part, because the rest of it's over here waiting for the elves to load it up. And then I'm just going to make a ski. And all you do is bring a line down. It kind of looks like a little candy cane. And then you just bring it back. And there's your ski for the sled to go on the snow when Santa needs to land. And then you can decorate this a little bit. Maybe you can put some jingle bells hanging from it. And that's just a circle with an X in it. Makes it look like a bell. So you can just bring that and do a little X in there. So any details that you can come up with that you would like to add to your drawing, please add as much as you can think of. You could have Santa in there. You could have Mrs. Claus. You could have some elves running around playing in the background. You could have a snowman. So anything you can think of that you would like to add to your drawing, please do so. And then color like a big kid, color nice and neat using crayon or colored pencil. So I'm going to show you a drawing that I did, and so you can see what a finished drawing looks like. I didn't color it, I just finished drawing it. So you have to think about the colors that you would put in this. So let me show you my drawing. Okay, here's a picture that I drew earlier. See all my uh, details that I added. I had a little bird that has an ornament up in the corner. I have my bunny and a squirrel and an elf looking out the window. So this is an example of a drawing that I did earlier, so you can see what a finished drawing might look like. And you can add whatever details you would like to add to yours. And I have one more surprise for you. My students know I love Minions, so I had to share this with you when I found it. My sister actually found it, and I need to share this with you. And I will play it for you and then tell you what the song is. That's Jingle Bells in Minion. Merry Christmas!